Hello, and a very warm welcome to this brand new video. We've done some prep work and already removed the front panel mask. And now we want to change the timing belt. It's important to note that you can just snap the front cover back on as well, but it's a little bit trickier to replace it, and because I have a video, I took the front cover off. It's important to see that the front cover is taken off. Climate abuse. In this video, I'm just going to put the water pump back together with a quick little fix and get this whole thing started up. Yeah, my friend. Let's get it going now. To change the timing belt, I remove the cover. Using a hex key, I unscrew the 3 screws. Take the screws off the cover. Alright, next up you'll want to carefully pop off these clips right here to remove the covers completely. Alright, to remove the flat belt, we'll begin by taking off this cover right here first. Grab a 13mm socket and loosen the flat belt. We can now take the whole thing off. In order to remove the flat belt, we'll first need to loosen this section here. A 40mm hex key for that. So we can take out the belt. Once we've removed the belt, the first one here in front for the AC, we have to take off this flat belt here at the back for the alternator with a 40 Torx wrench T40. So, we loosen everything. So you can go ahead and loosen everything. This here is already a bit of a special nut that I've got here. So, you can go ahead and remove the flat belt from here if we're just changing the timing belt. There are several different TDC markings, but truthfully, just having this single TDC marking here is completely sufficient. Because if you, for example, disassemble the engine or do anything else, you need to know the TDC markings for the camshafts as well, since you twist them. I'll show you. The TDC marks when disassembling the engine here. Specifically, there's one in the rear. Then you'll need to insert a locking tool to secure it properly. Then you have to insert a locking tool into the injection pump here. When working on the crankshaft, you'll first need to remove the rear plug from the engine block, and then properly install a locking tool. Note, single lock emoji, pure action symbol, requiring prior procedure knowledge, final meaningful compression. No locking tool handy, just using a 6mm drill bit. A 6mm drill bit, that gets inserted right here. Before that, of course, you've got to turn the crankshaft so everything sits just right. Once everything's aligned properly, and you can see there's a hole right there. You slide it in and mark your own reference points on the camshaft. That way, when you remove the timing belt later, you'll still know exactly where it was properly seated. In a way, you're creating your own timing marks. One here, and one on the side. You can clearly see the hole right there. After you've got everything properly blocked off in place, and added your own reference marks all around the area, we're going to go ahead and unscrew the wheel from the injection pump because we need to get this cover removed. We went ahead and made another mark just to be safe, so now we'll grab a 22mm and unscrew the spanner here. So then we can loosen everything here and remove the belt. Take it off. Next, we'll use a 5mm hex key and unscrew these two bolts here. Then we'll take our 6mm hex key and remove KD2 at this location here. We grab a 12mm socket and loosen this part right here. Then we take a 32mm wrench and a small ratchet with a 10mm bit to remove the whole assembly here. Once we've unscrewed the wheel, we can also access the 6mm hex bolts here. To be able to take out this plate, we'll have to unscrew the flywheel first. Then grab a 6mm Allen wrench and loosen them. Bolt here. Then we can pull out the drawer completely. There. And the whole thing once. Next, we'll loosen the wrench here. We'll undo this whole thing here. Alright, once we've completely loosened these two bolts here, we'll carefully rotate this component clockwise so we can properly insert the drill bit for the wrench assembly. Alright, at this point we've successfully loosened all the necessary bolts and components, so now we're all set to carefully remove the timing belt without any problems. Let's go ahead and remove this entire assembly now, and what's crucial is that before doing so, you make your own reference mark here at the crankshaft pulley. Alright. We've now removed the timing belt. If we want to replace the water pump, we'll unscrew the pulley, the tensioner pulley, so we can take off the water pump. Alright, we're grabbing a Torx bit to loosen up this bolt right here, so we can pull off the timing belt cover first, then we'll be able to remove the tensioner completely. Now we're going ahead and removing the bolt that we've already loosened right here. Alright, let's go ahead and use a 10mm socket with a small ratchet to remove the wrench here. Of course, we're going to replace it with new ones. If you order a set, all the rollers are included. Yeah, we're removing the 10mm water pump bolts and replacing them. Then we just gotta carefully pry the water pump out from in here. And then we can remove the water pump from here. I'll put a very thin layer of sealant on the new water pump, just a light coat. So, we'll then put the gasket on. This whole section right here to clean up. I already took care of it beforehand. And blow out all the holes to remove any leftover dust or debris. Now we're degreasing it all with brake cleaner. Here we also apply a very thin layer of sealant. So, once we've applied the sealant and everything's clean and degreased, we can go ahead and reinstall it. The bolts for the water pump need to be tightened to 10 Newton meters of torque. We're tightening this down to 10 Newton meters of torque. It's a tight space, hard to reach, so I'll need the small ratchet and socket to get to it. Next, we're replacing the idler pulley here, putting on the new idler pulley. And tighten the idler pulley to 45 Newton meters. It's really important that when we install the tensioner, this lever here presses firmly against the pin. Not like this, but like this. That's important. You gotta pay attention to that. Alright, then we'll take this out here. We've already started with this one, but it's not fixed yet. Let's go ahead and set this up. We'll tighten the full 3 screws on the bracket with 10 Newton meters. We'll put the new timing belt on, and for that, we'll take the idler pulley off again. We'll put this whole assembly on here. Make sure your markings line up properly. We'll go around it once and install everything carefully so we're left with just the idler pulley, ensuring all components sit correctly on the teeth with matching markings. Same as down here. Last, we take the idler pulley and the Allen key. We put this here correctly. On. And then press really hard against it. Then tighten the whole thing again to 45 millimeters. Once we have the timing belt on and the tensioner bolted back in, we can pull the pin out here, and then it tensions the timing belt automatically. Alright, next we'll go ahead and tighten both bolts on the tensioner here. Torque them down to 30 Newton meters. Alright, the next thing we've got to do is swap out this plate's tensioner for the smaller belt that connects directly to the fuel injection pump. We'll take this one off, mount the new one here. It's important to make sure. It clicks into the pin, then we'll put the new nut on here. Pop that in. We'll tighten this with a 12mm socket at 45 Newton meters. And tighten this here at 22 Newton meters. We'll torque all these bolts to 10 Newton meters. Next, we're putting the screw back on here. This is how we reattach the whole thing. Alright, and tighten the screws to 10 Newton meters. So that's basically how it was. First, we completely loosen the tensioner. That means turning it all the way to the right. So the tension pulley is as far down as possible. Then we tension it. Take the new belt. And now we put the G on it. With a little feel, we press this all the way on now. And now we can go ahead and tighten it from down here. So, to tighten the tensioner properly, we'll insert the hex wrench here and tilt the whole thing to the left. So, here's exactly how I'm doing it. I'm carefully positioning this arrow right between these two larger metal plates. To tighten this spanner properly, you'll need a special tool so that you can. Secure the spanner with a hex key and then tighten everything firmly. Next, we'll put the plug back on here. Then we'll put the cover behind the flywheel back on. The bolt gets 10 Newton meters. Now we install the flywheel, and the bolts get 22 Newton meters. So, crosswise, let's go ahead and tighten everything up properly, so the bolt can help the disc settle more evenly. We'll tighten the disc back down securely now. First, let's position everything in place, and then tighten it all down to 22 Newton meters. Crosswise, so it sits evenly. Strap positioned, same as right over here. Loosen it up a bit now. and place it right on top over here. Just like we agreed. With the T40. Torx will tighten everything back up, because it tightens on its own. Yeah, we'll reinstall the belt, tension it to the left. Go ahead and fully tighten up the tensioner until it's completely secure. Then just slide the protective cover back into place to prevent dirt from getting inside. Alright folks, now we're going to reassemble everything in reverse order step by step. We've just demonstrated the complete timing belt replacement process for you. Now I'm putting the entire front cover back on. It would make for a very, very long video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments when you take off the front cover. It's actually better if you fully remove the front cover first. But it also works if you pull the front cover forward. Yeah, what I need to say now is important. When you remove the front cover, you have to the AC and the new I don't wish anything for you guys. I'm just genuinely happy if the video helped you out, if I managed to make things easier for you. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao!